Coming at you from Tokyo, Japan, my name is Dave and this is OPENCafe. OPENCafe is an annual Suzuki Cappuccino meeting attracting over 200 cars every year since 1999. I think the first time I came to this event was 2015, but I didn't start documenting it until 2016. And at that time it was just photos on Instagram. Flash forward to 2024 and here I am again, so let's look at some cars. First up we've got this fairly stock looking EA11R, and I can tell that by the number plate. I think those are Panasports, and we wrap it up with an aftermarket exhaust. Basically exactly the same car but in a different color, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good looking car. And this is where the wheels fell off because I had no idea what this bonnet or aero was. So I started researching. But that took a lot more effort than you'd think because all of the websites have been deleted and the molds for the bumpers have all been sold off to other people. Well, at least a lot of them have, or at least that's what it looks like, because all these things look the same. How do you tell the difference between some of these bumpers? Well, that's very, very difficult to do. I spent days and days researching this because some of these bumpers only have 1 or 2 photos on the entire internet, and even the people who posted the photos don't know what the bumper is. They're always like, I bought it on Yahoo Auction, it was cheap, I don't know what it is. I started off trying to identify all the trunk spoilers or rear wings, whatever you want to call them, but I gave up pretty quick because they're all just copies and there's no way to know who made what. Like, you'll find one that looks exactly like a Suzuki Sports one, but carbon, and Suzuki Sports never made a carbon one, so what the hell is this? So I've identified some. I could be wrong, but yeah, I've done my best. Same with all the other aero. So if you see any spelling mistakes or I get the name of the bumper wrong, cut me some slack because this sucked. Because this video was taking so long to make, I ended up making the video about the bumpers and how difficult they are to identify. But even doing that uncovered another bumper that I'd never seen before. But I feel like that video turned out really good. I enjoyed making it and I enjoy watching it. But the whole identifying the aero parts thing came from the fact that I just didn't know what this video was supposed to be about. It's all very well to film these cars, but then what do I do with the footage? Just play some jazz over it? And then what? Are you going to enjoy that? I had my doubts, so I needed to give you more. But what? And that's when I had the idea of telling you all about the bumpers and stuff. But that presented its own problem because the snippets of video of each car that I have don't give me enough time to identify and name everything. So that's when I came up with the idea of the shopping list in the bottom left-hand corner here. But that brings us full circle back to what is this video? Just jazz and cars. So I decided to run with the jazz idea and made a full 8-track album of jazz about the cappuccino. But then someone pointed me to the very well hidden terms and conditions, and if you're not a paying member, you can't use it on monetized videos. So a few people got to enjoy that, but unfortunately not everybody. This year's OPENCafe was different from me in the fact that, well, one, it was in a different location to what I'm used to. In previous years, it was held in Shizuoka at a place called Hamamatsu, and now it's in Aichi in a place called Toyohashi. So it's about 30 to 40 minutes further away. I know what you're thinking, that's not too bad, and you're right, it's not too bad, but the places I would normally stay that were only 10 minutes away are now sort of 50 minutes to an hour away, so that's not going to work. And the other thing is that I had some American tourists with me. I almost messed up the entire thing because I waited too long to buy the tickets. We were really lucky. I enlisted the help of a couple of people and we were able to get tickets just in time. So to the people that helped me get tickets, thank you very much. Couldn't have done it without you. But I also waited too long to organize the accommodation. All the good cheap stuff was fully booked. If it was just me, I would have slept in the car, but 4 people sleeping in the car, that was never gonna work. Lucky for us, one of the American tourists was able to find some accommodation on Google Maps. 2 rooms, married couple in one room, and me and a dude I just met the previous night in the other room. We were just excited to get rooms, so we booked it. It wasn't until after we booked it that we realized it's a love hotel. For those that don't know, a love hotel is a Japanese hotel designed for couples to rest. One queen-size bed. Lucky for me, I've got a bunch of camping equipment, so I just took a cot, a sleeping bag, and a pillow, and I was set. The dude I was staying with was happy to take the queen-size bed, and we had a great night's sleep. Before we secured the hotel, I was thinking about just driving down in the morning, but it's a really good thing I didn't do that, because the highway going down and back was experiencing some really heavy traffic and added 2 hours to the trip. There's just no way we would have been on time. Everything just worked out so well that I think I'm going to do exactly the same thing next year, including staying in the same love hotel. Make it like a tradition thing. So yeah, big thank you to the guy that convinced me that it was a good idea to stay in a hotel, and also for finding the hotel on Google Maps. But yeah, 4 of us drove down in the Altezza, stayed at the hotel, there was a convenience store across the street, it was great. Another thing I did differently this year is that I stopped in at Suzuki Plaza on the way. That's a Suzuki museum in Hamamatsu. Definitely go and check it out if you're ever in the area, because it's really good, and it's free. But you do have to book in advance. Just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that they've got a pretty damn good selection of trinkets and souvenirs, so you're gonna want to have funds available. This year had a turnout of just over 260 cars, which is amazing considering how many cars are on social media that have been exported out of Japan. But it's just really good to see people from all over Japan coming together for this event. And it's really good that the organizers are still running this event. But yeah, filming 260 cars, I have to squat 3 times to film each car. That's a lot of squats, and that takes a lot of time. I can't stand around and wait for the car park to be full and then start filming. There simply just isn't enough time to do that. And while I did manage to film most of them, there were a few cars that came late and left early. But that was just unavoidable. I can't be darting all over the place, otherwise I'm gonna forget stuff, as evidenced shortly. I don't know what happened. I reached out to the woman filming on the side here, but I didn't get a reply, so unfortunately I don't have any footage of the front of this car, and I'm sorry. When I started filming this, 60% of cars still hadn't even arrived yet. So I just started by filming the cars that were furthest from the entrance. I figured they'd been there the longest, and if I didn't start right away, I might not have enough time to get all the cars. And I was right, because I started filming before the event's official start time. I didn't really have any time to talk to anybody at length, and I was filming virtually all day. But it's for this reason that when I film events like this, I really need to stick to a pattern, or follow the rows, because if I don't, I get confused and then I end up missing things. But what I'm not going to miss is the opportunity to tell you how cool this roof is. This is absolutely incredible work, and it's DIY. I didn't get the chance to talk to the owner of this car, but seeing that link sticker there makes this car very interesting. This front bumper is one of my favorites, and I didn't even know it existed before I started making this video. I must have got distracted by the rabbits because I didn't get a side view of this car, I'm sorry. And coincidentally, this is one of the bumpers that I still haven't identified. I wrote Cunny Chemical, but I don't actually know. I gotta say that I love a white car with black accents, and this Heartland rear wing is just awesome. Again, I don't know what distracted me, but I'm so sorry I didn't get any footage of the front of your car. This is the famous Gachapin car. I've filmed this thing a bunch of times. Really cool. The amount of work that went into this car is just phenomenal. Like, you could make a 10-minute video on just this easily. I'm kind of surprised you don't see more halfway aero, honestly, because I think it's really cool. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this thing's got extended rear trailing arms. Roof scoops is something that I started to research and then gave up because they're all custom. There's nothing for sale on the retail market. One mistake I made this year was when I first started filming the cars, I did a front corner zoom in and then a rear corner zoom in, and that was it. It wasn't until much later that I wanted a side sweep of the car. But rather than going back and doing all the side sweep shots then and there, I decided it'd be a better idea to do it later, so I didn't lose my place and forget to film some cars, which is ironic because I decided to do side shots right after the side shot I just missed. But by the time I got back to the beginning to start filming the side shots, I'd already burned through all of my GoPro 8 batteries and was onto the GoPro 7. On top of that, the heat of the day and fatigue had just really got to me, so there's a real inconsistency with the speed and everything of the side shots. Some of them are too fast, some of them are too slow. Just quickly, I think that bumper is a Kimura, but I'm really not sure. Pretty sure there was only 2 bumpers that looked like this at the entire event, and if I recall correctly, they aren't identical. I have no idea what these taillights are either. I don't think there's ever been a better name for an aero company than Hippo Sleek. Just saying. This car is very interesting. Lots of stuff to look at and talk about. Now this is something I'd never seen before. It's called the Truccino because it's a mashup between an A86 Trueno and a Cappuccino. Don't get me wrong, I've seen pop-up headlights on a Cappuccino before, but they were all from a 180SX. This car is very unassuming because just looking at the video, you'd have no idea that it's full of new parts that haven't even been released yet. One of which is a new style short shifter. This thing's just beautiful. I don't know what it is about it, but I think it's stunning. Now this is called the Alancino, named that because it looks like a Lotus Elan. This was a full kit manufactured by a company that unfortunately no longer exists called Madhouse. That cover sure is a rare item, but this car highlights one of the things I really like about OPENCafe. The car's a one owner and it looks to be a bone stock EA21R. Same as this one. And they're parked up surrounded by completely modified cappuccinos. And I love that. I love that people bring what they've got. They don't feel like they have to have the most modified cappuccino in the world just to show up. I for one am glad that they're not all modified to the hilt because they look good stock. And just as I said it, look what's going on here. I don't know what that is, but that's a custom intake manifold and a giant turbo. And I love seeing this too. I love the fact they're all mixed up together. This thing is an absolute beast. From the colorway to the aero choices. Magical. And then parked right behind it is this. It's cute. It's adorable. Might be an absolute monster. Dunno. Can't see under the hood. I couldn't identify virtually anything off this car. I do know the bonnet is wrapped, but that's about it. I'm a huge fan of this rear diffuser. This car's part of a group that I don't know a hell of a lot about. I can't tell whether they're called Garage KTS or whether they're called Baby Supercar. Either way, they make some really cool stuff. I want to say it's Garage KTS, but the Google search results are kind of vague, pointing to blogs or unrelated companies. But yeah, there's a bunch of KTS/Baby Supercar cars at this event. They're usually really heavily modified. Keep an eye out for the Garage KTS stickers on the rear window, and they also often have a really nice roof-mounted spoiler. I was really impressed with this car. Young guy, put the car together himself. This car was really interesting because the owner entered the car dress-up competition with a theme of camping, but more on that in a minute because here's some more Garage KTS cars. Check out that trunk spoiler and the laser-cut Baby Supercar plaque. Here's another one, it's really nice, he actually drifts it, and there's the roof spoiler I was talking about. Another one from Garage KTS, but this time it's an Itasha. Awesome. I'm pretty sure these wheels are only 17s, but they look huge. This is the most tame looking Garage KTS car, so I wonder what's happening underneath the bonnet. Got that full sleeper look about it with that sticker on the back window. This car's been around for a long time. A lot of work done in the theme of Evangelion. Super cool. Oh, almost forgot. The car that did the camping theme for the dress-up competition. Dude brought everything in the Cappuccino. Tarp, cooking equipment, everything. It was sick. I just didn't get to film it because he packed it up before I could get there. This is another baby supercar Garage KTS car. I believe that front bumper is a one-off. If you look carefully, you'll see that just about everything on the back of that car is custom. Custom like this roof. So sick. I'm not sure why, but the owner really wanted me to film this sticker on the fuel cap. In yellow with that Garage John exhaust. This car's got a lot of cool features if you slow it down and have a look. Take a close look at this bonnet, and then look at how it lines up to the fender. Like, so cool. And again, we go from something that's super modified to stuff that's relatively stock. Gotta mention the Elite SPL fuel cap on this car though, because those are sick. And then back into a seriously modified EA21R. This is a beautiful car and a beautiful color, but I failed because I didn't get any video of the back of the car. Not overly modified, but just a beautifully clean engine bay. Quite a few people with this style of roof, and I really dig it. I've featured this car a bunch of times. Super cool car, and the owner's really nice as well. How good does a Cappuccino look in gunmetal grey? Classic, stock, EA21R, I can tell by the wheels. This car is actually a one owner. This is another one of my favorite cars. I just love the styling of it, everything about it, wouldn't change a thing. And how could you not like this? This is epic. This thing is unbelievable. This is another one-owner car. It's quite amazing how many people bought one of these and went, yep, this is my car for life. It's really not hard to see why though, because they're amazing cars. If you've ever owned one and sold it, chances are you miss it. There's that Elite SPL bumper again. This might be fun. Let me know in the comments what your favorite combination of parts are. Be interesting to see what everyone has and if it matches what I would choose. It's just amazing that there really isn't two cars that look the same. Very interesting to see the blow-off valve there being used as a recirc. Am I crazy or was that oil dipstick not OEM? Did you notice that the front bumper was different? Or was it? Did I get it wrong? I believe the instrument cluster was made by the owner. Very cool. There's that fuel cap again. Gotta love it. So many different styles and approaches to modification. It's so good to see. Like some car cultures have got this thing where somebody somewhere has decided what's cool and decided what's not, and then everybody follows those rules. And Japan just isn't like that, and I really hope it stays this way. That's another Cozy Lights bumper. I didn't know that existed before I started making this video either. Extremely rare. It's interesting how many yellow cars there are. In previous years, I don't remember seeing that many. Or maybe they just didn't all park together. I don't know where this thing came from, but it's sick. This car makes me think of Rage Against the Machine. You know that song where he's like, I won't do what you've told me to do? It's just amazing, like, how good does this car look stock? Like, I don't know of another car that looks as good stock as it does totally modified. There's another one of those crux roofs. Seeing two at one event, you'd be forgiven for thinking they're common. They're not. If you pause the video here and zoom in, you'll see that the stickers on the trunk are actually from OPENCafe years. He also has a Club Capo sticker on there. For those that don't know, that's a super OG cappuccino group from the UK. Shout out to Andy Milne if you're watching. There is a lot more to this car than meets the eye, and if I ever get the opportunity, I'm going to interview the owner. Cappuccino seats do not get more rare than this. Can anyone tell me who made this exhaust? You know, it's funny because for a brief moment, very brief moment, I thought about naming all of the wheels as well. What a rabbit hole nightmare that would have been, because every car's got different wheels. Do me a favor and press that like button right now before you forget. If I could get one like for every squat that I did filming this video, that would be more likes than I've ever got on any video. Another thing you can do is leave a comment with a timestamp of your favorite car. This is a full Elite SBL car, and I'm all about it. Wait till you see the roof of this car, it's so sick. As I said before, there were some cars that I missed because they went home early. This is where they were parked. It is unfortunate, but it just couldn't be helped. Not enough time. Like, I wish I could stop and talk to every single owner and get a backstory about every single car. But the math just doesn't add up for that. 5-minute conversation times 260? Yeah, nah. This is a drag car that I'm told will do 13-second passes consistently, and it's owned by a very lovely lady who gave me her last bottle of water when I was dying of thirst. I'm not going to talk too much about the cars that are in here because they're all manufacturers' cars. This is from a company called Reblock. I can't pronounce the name of this place, but I believe they inherited all of Cozy Light's stuff when he stopped doing cappuccino parts. Now he just focuses on the Honda Beat and the S660. That K6A is out of a Jimny. Don't miss the fact that it's got a drive-by-wire throttle body. I don't know what the hell happened here. GoPros, man. This is a new exhaust manifold that they're working on, K6A top mount. This is the booth from Wise Factory. this is Garage Limit. I have a sneaking suspicion that these two cars aren't from Garage Limit. I think they're from Cosmic Garage, but I just can't be sure. Unfortunately, I got here so late they took all the signage down. This next place was called Cars Navi 1. I really like the fact that they brought a whole bunch of used parts. I didn't have a chance to go through them and get a bargain, but I know there was some in there. Thank you very much to all the staff of the event who made me feel welcome. I hope to see you all next year. Minasan arigatou gozaimashita.